I think it's possible that people don't understand just how good Kansas City is. And I know people know about their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, but they also, you realize they've only really lost one legitimate game all year. And that's not just because they got a great quarterback. They got a great team around him. And I know that the Kansas City Chiefs went 14-2, but they rested all their starters in Week 17. They could have won that game if they probably played everybody. That's the last game of the regular season. Really, the only loss Kansas City had all year was Week 5 against the Las Vegas Raiders, John Gruden and his bunch of guys. And the Chiefs' defense is way better than people realize. They're well coached. They got playmakers. I love watching. Tyrann Mathieu might be my favorite defensive player in the entire NFL to watch. The heart, the passion, the fire he plays with. He's so gifted. And, I mean, I feel like nobody ever gives credit to the defense. It's totally forgotten. Of course, they got their great coach. They got their great quarterback. Steve Spagnuolo does a great job. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, does a great job. Like, there's coaches galore on this team. And with Kansas City, when they're on offense, if you're playing defense against Kansas City, you cannot play man coverage. You literally can't. They have Tyreek Hill, the fastest receiver in the league, maybe Scotty Miller. It's up for debate. I think Tyreek Hill, I've seen him play. I watched him beat last year Matt Moore stepped in to play quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Green Bay Packers. And Matt Moore was made to look like a superhero because he was throwing to Tyreek Hill, who's wide open, like over and over again. Like, Tyreek Hill elevates everybody he plays with. People don't understand like how fast and how incredibly gifted Tyreek Hill is. You cannot match up with him one-on-one. Nobody can do it. I am still waiting for the person in the NFL who can stay with Tyreek Hill on that deep crossing route. It's like some people call it a sail route where you go up and kind of behind the linebackers. You can't cover the guy across the field vertically or even in a straight line in man-to-man coverage. It's impossible. And you can't cover their tight end, Travis Kelce, man-to-man either because he's too fast to be guarded by a linebacker. Guy's big enough to, guard him physically, can't stay with him. And then he's too big for a corner or a safety or any kind of defensive back to guard Travis Kelce because he can body them up and out-physical them. So I don't know how you play man coverage against Kansas City. If you play zone coverage, either Patrick Mahomes will extend the play, and even though, he's got, I know he's got a messed up foot, even so, he's still been able to do it to some degree, avoiding sacks and keeping plays alive. And then if you play zone coverage, another thing Kansas City can do is use play action or misdirection or fly sweeps or motion. And the way they use motion and misdirection in the backfield often gets people out of their zones and manipulates zone coverage. And my point is that Kansas City is a complete nightmare to match up against. They got maybe the most gifted quarterback ever, a coach designing incredible plays. They're well coached across the board. They've got amazing talent on offense. They've got a really good defense. Kansas City should be the favorite in this Super Bowl by a mile. So what that makes this Super Bowl is a heist movie. This Super Bowl is Ocean's 11, and Tom Brady is George Clooney. And in every single heist movie I can think of, whether you're robbing a bank or some rich dude's mansion or whatever the heist is centered around, there's always a very specific plan where if everything goes right, then the plan works, the day is won, and the people in the movie walk away with some really exciting object. And in this case, it's a Lombardi trophy, winning the Super Bowl. Here is how Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can steal the Super Bowl. So number one, you have to go for it on fourth down. You will not beat the Kansas City Chiefs by playing conservative. You will not beat them unless you go for it on fourth down. You're not going to beat them kicking field goals. You're not going to beat them playing it safe. You got to play balls to the wall. If you're going to go down, you're going to go down swinging. I watched so many teams make this mistake against Kansas City this year. It drove me nuts. I'm like, what are you doing? Over and over and over again, I watch teams not seem to understand, you're playing Kansas City. You're playing the best team in the NFL by a mile, the best quarterback maybe ever. You got to treat Patrick Mahomes like a mythical beast. He's a unicorn. You're never going to see one ever again. And you play slightly different when you play Kansas City. You have to. I thought the Buffalo Bills, in the AFC Championship game, they were the worst offenders of this, where multiple times they kept refusing to go for it on fourth down. Fourth and short, kicking field goals rather than going for it. You need touchdowns, not field goals, to beat Kansas City. You need to go for it on 4th and 3. 4th and 3, midfield, maybe even a little bit into your own field goal, into your own field position. Like you're on your own, I'm saying like 35-yard line. 4th and 1, you go for it because you're playing Kansas City. You got to go for it. Do not play it safe. And I believe Tom Brady has watched the film and seen the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills and gone, yeah, you got to take it seriously. Like you have to go for it on fourth down. You can't play safe or conservative. Tom Brady, I would imagine, watched the Raiders game and went, oh, yeah, they went for it on fourth down. And it worked because I think Tom Brady, again, would rather go down swinging. There's one team that played this way all year against Kansas City, the Raiders, and they beat them. The one legitimate loss all year by Kansas City, there was a moment where the Raiders had the ball, an 8-point lead with the ball, 2 minutes left. The Raiders had the ball, 4th and 1, just past midfield. And like what conventional wisdom says, well, punt the ball away. Like you're up 8 points. All they can do is tie the game. There's 2 minutes left, 4th and 1, punt the ball away. You're at midfield. And John Gruden said, no, guys. We're playing Patrick Mahomes. We're not giving him the ball back. We're not insane. We know if we give Patrick Mahomes the ball with 2 minutes left, down 8 points, he's going to tie the game because that's what he does. There's a reverence and respect that John Gruden had in that moment for Patrick Mahomes, saying, you don't coach against Patrick Mahomes the same way. You don't play the same way you do against other teams. They went for it on 4th and 1. They got it. They won the game. Bam, ball game. Again, the rules are different for Kansas City. The rules are different for Patrick Mahomes. So the Buccaneers, they have to go for it on 4th down. That's the center point of my thesis of how the Buccaneers can steal the Super Bowl. At number 2, they also need to make Kansas City pay for their mistakes. They do make mistakes. They have muffed punts. They have fumbles. Patrick Mahomes took a gigantic sack this year that was terrible. Like he lost like 40 yards on a sack just running backwards. So Kansas City does make mistakes. You have to make them pay. When you get them in 3rd and 27, you have to stop them. Kansas City, more than any team I've ever seen in my entire life, converts 3rd and long, where 3rd and 35, they throw for 37 yards. 3rd and 23, Patrick Mahomes will run for 24 yards, step out of bounds, untouched. And you're like, how? It happens all the time. So if you get them in 3rd and long, you have to stop them. If they fumble, you need to score. If they throw an interception, you got to capitalize on that. Make them pay when they make mistakes. Now, the Chiefs' starting left tackle, Eric Fisher, will not be playing in the Super Bowl. He's got a torn Achilles. I feel bad for him. It's terrible. Horrible way to miss the Super Bowl. But it does leave Kansas City vulnerable on their offensive line. Oh, and by the way, it was already going to be a very interesting matchup between the Buccaneers players up front on defense and Kansas City. You have Ndamukong Suh, you have Vita Vea on the interior defensive line. You have Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett on the edge. And by the way, in 2019, Shaq Barrett led the entire NFL in sacks. Shaq Barrett can get after the quarterback. But I got to say this too. Getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes is not enough. You need to take him to the ground. Because even with a banged up foot, his foot is not at 100% right now. Even with that banged up foot, Mahomes has still found a way, like he always does, because he has this crazy ability to escape sacks and get away. He'll escape a sack, he'll extend a play, find someone open downfield, make a ridiculous throw, and you're like, you're sitting there with your hands on your head going like, what just happened? It's crazy. He does this all the time. And so you have to not just get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. It's easy to get a guy in his face. Easy is probably the wrong word there, but my point is like, so what? You get a guy in his face. I'm not impressed with that. You have to take him to the ground. Do not allow Patrick Mahomes to run around and extend too many plays. So the Buccaneers have to play their best game. They have to bring everything they have. They got to play balls to the wall, take risks, make plays, sack Patrick Mahomes, take advantage of mistakes. But I will say this is a winnable game for Tampa Bay. They've got great receivers. They've got a receiving core that's ridiculous. They've got a good defensive line. They've got an all-time quarterback. My favorite part about this Super Bowl is the thought of, at the end of a game normally, any team playing Kansas City would go, well, they've got Patrick Mahomes. Like, at the end of the game, I'm going to pick Kansas City to win because they've got Patrick Mahomes. Like, at the end of the game, he can make a play to win. But I say the exact same thing anytime somebody plays Tom Brady. I go, well, who do you trust at the end of the game? Tom Brady. And if I had to pick two quarterbacks in the entire NFL I trust the most with the ball at the end of the game, needing points or needing something to happen with the game on the line, I would pick Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. That's unbelievable. They're going to play each other in the Super Bowl. I am giddy. I can't wait. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I am expecting there to be something crazy at the end of this game. I can't wait for it. But again, this is a winnable game for Tampa Bay. They can pull off the heist and win the Super Bowl, but they have to have things go their way. They need to make great contested catches. They need to take advantage of mistakes. They need to get pressure and take Mahomes to the ground, and they must not play conservative. They have to go for it on fourth down. It drives me nuts. Every time I watch teams play Kansas City and not go for the fourth down, I go, you don't understand who you're playing. What's going on? Now, I want to make a prediction. I do expect it to be a very close game. Here, it may not correlate, but it is certainly gives me reason to believe that it's going to be a close game. Tom Brady's been to 9 Super Bowls. They've all been close. They've all been, 8 of them were within 8 points or less. 8 of them were one-score games. Now, when the Patriots beat the Rams, they won 13-3, so that was a 10-point game. 8 of the 9 were one-score games. 1 Super Bowl was, and that's whether Tom Brady wins or loses. He always wins or loses by a score or less, except for the time they beat the LA Rams and Jared Goff's inept offense could just not get into the end zone. It was a really defensive-led, boring Super Bowl till the end. Oh, man. So even further, Patrick Mahomes has played Tom Brady 4 times. They are each 2-2. So Tom Brady's won twice. Mahomes has won twice. So while Tom, every Super Bowl he's played and it's been close, every time Mahomes has played Brady, it's been a one-score game or less, which is also crazy. So I don't know how you look at this and go, oh, it's going to be a blowout. Like, if anybody wins with a blowout, it will be Kansas City. I see Kansas City is capable of blowing out Tampa Bay. I don't know that Tampa is going to blow out. I just don't see a possibility where Tom Brady and Tampa Bay blows out Kansas City. But I'd be shocked if either team won by 40 points. I'd go like, oh, that's just not... We're not going to see a Super Bowl like when Seattle beat the crap out of the Denver Broncos. That's not possible, in my opinion, to see that happen on Sunday. So I'm really excited. It's going to be very, very fun. I want to predict, so I predict a close game. I also want to, just for fun, predict that Patrick Mahomes is going to make some kind of crazy play. That's going to be a highlight that we're going to talk about for a long, long time. Like some kind of crazy behind the back, upside down, through his legs throw that were like, oh my gosh, he was falling to the ground, and he threw it through his legs, underhand, to Travis Kelce, 40 yards, who caught it one hand. Like, something crazy like that's going to happen. It happens, I feel like, in every Super Bowl, there's some signature play. I feel like it's a pretty easy prediction that's going to come from Patrick Mahomes in this game, where some crazy highlight's going to happen. We're going to talk about it for weeks. It's going to be on T-shirts and SportsCenter everywhere. Now, another prediction I want to make is that we're going to talk about this Super Bowl for the next 20 to 25 years. This is a very, very meaningful benchmark Super Bowl. It's Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. And I really believe this is like having a NBA Finals matchup between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. We never got that matchup in the NBA, but we get that matchup here in the NFL. Tom Brady's going to go down as arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. And my prediction would be that when it's all said and done for Patrick Mahomes, we're going to have the same conversation with him. It's going to be, who's greater, Mahomes or Brady? Brady wasn't as talented. Mahomes maybe didn't win as many. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to be? I can't predict the future, but my prediction is that 20, 25 years from now, we're still going to talk about this game, especially when that conversation comes up. Who is the greatest quarterback of all time, Mahomes or Brady? We'll go, well, remember that one time this guy beat that guy in that Super Bowl. End of his career, beginning of his career. We're going to talk about it. We're going to say it was a fair fight, or maybe it wasn't fair because Brady was this age. Like, no matter what happens, there's going to be this conversation about this game for years to come. I apologize in advance. I'll try to keep it at a minimum. But I know that my colleagues around the world that talk about sports, they're all going to talk about it. It's going to be everywhere. Now, you may have seen, this is a story I don't really take any pleasure in talking about. I'm going to say minimal what I have to say and probably not much more. You may have seen that the linebacker coach for Kansas City will not be coaching in this game. You can Google it if you want to. It feels like a distraction, though. This story, to me, is, I don't want to say too much. It's not a rallying point. It's not a feel-good story. Like when, feel-good's the wrong word there, but when LSU had the LSU offensive coordinator in the national championship, the morning of, his daughter-in-law died in a plane crash. And LSU goes, man, that's awful. And they rally around their coach, and they beat the crap out of, I believe it was Clemson. It's been a long time now. I remember they beat the crap out of Oklahoma. And then, yes, I believe it was Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, Joe Burrow throwing touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, just having a grand old time. And they said, yeah, it was emotional. We were fighting hard. We felt bad for our coach. It was motivating and brought us together. I don't know that this story about the linebacker coach for Kansas City is that way. It's embarrassing, and I think it might throw some people off. Now, another thing to track is, does Tampa Bay start off slow? I know that Tom Brady's going to be very comfortable in a Super Bowl. Kansas City's been in a Super Bowl before. All these players are returning from last year. What about Tampa Bay? Is Mike Evans had a moment where it was very kind of charming and fun. Like, they won the NFC Championship game, and he was running off the field, and they go, oh, the podium's out. He's like, oh, I'm new to this. Like, Mike Evans has never had a winning season in the NFL in his life. Like, he's like, wow, this is all new. And my point is that maybe people in Tampa might feel very nervous early on. That opening kickoff, pictures everywhere. You always hear about opening kickoff of the Super Bowl is like the most tense, electrifying moment of a guy's career. And it's very possible that the bright lights are going to flash brightly and make somebody nervous early on in the first 5 minutes of the game before people settle in for Tampa Bay. Keep your eye on that. Like, maybe they go 3 and out to start the game, and Tom's like, what the heck's going on? And then people settle in after that. Something like that might happen, but I'm telling you that the story about the Kansas City Chiefs linebacker coach is very sad. It's not a rallying point. I think it's a distraction, and I think that could have some kind of effect on the game for Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Look, this is going to be a fun, competitive, close, entertaining game. Get nachos, get pizza, get wings, whatever the heck you do to enjoy football. I normally start watching games about 30 minutes to an hour after they start because I like to fast forward through the commercials. Not this time. I'm going to sit. I'm going to watch every commercial, everything. I'm going to probably do a list of like the top 10 commercials from the Super Bowl on the show on Monday. And I would be shocked again if anybody won this game with a blowout. Kansas City is the better team in my opinion. But remember, ask yourself, you gave Tom Brady 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl. You think Tom Brady's not going to show up ready to go with a great game plan and a great idea of how to beat Kansas City? Tom Brady's got a plan. He's had 2 weeks to sit, think about it, prepare, get his teammates ready. And Tom Brady does. I talk about him like a coach because he is kind of a coach in Tampa Bay. He was given that role. He was allowed to be the guy directing traffic in Tampa Bay. I think that's huge for him. And I want to see Tampa Bay take risks. They've had time to get ready. If they play conservative, they will lose. You have to play balls to the wall. You have to go for it on fourth down. I've said that so many times in this segment, but it's so important. If they do it, if they go for it on fourth down, they play their best game, Tampa Bay does have a chance to win this game. I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's in Tampa. It's a home game for Tampa Bay. That's crazy, too. Never happened before. No matter who wins, it's going to be fun. I'll be happy for. I really don't have a. Okay, I'd like to see Tom Brady win. It'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be kind of a fun stick it to all the people that said it was always Belichick. But I think the point has been made about Brady. Like, Brady clearly made it. Getting to the Super Bowl is enough of a statement about his legacy to me. And from here on out, I just want to see fun, entertaining, amazing football. It's going to be close. It's going to be entertaining. Mahomes is going to make a crazy play. Do they go for it on fourth down? Can they get pressure on Patrick Mahomes? Can they make contested catches? The pressures, I guess, actually, the pressure's on Kansas City because Tampa has nothing to lose. They're not the favorite. They're expected to lose. Everybody's picking Kansas City. I think that does swing things towards an advantage for Tampa, actually, because they can play loose. I think Tom Brady prefers to be the underdog, and that's a dangerous place to be. An angry Tom Brady in the Super Bowl who is eager to show, hey, I still got it. You doubted me for years. I'm on the big stage. Let's go. I think that I'm convincing myself maybe I'm going to pick Tampa Bay to win. I can't predict a winner. I have no – like, how can you pick a winner, really? You have no idea. When Jacksonville plays Green Bay, it's an obvious win for Green Bay. There are certain games and certain matchups that are obvious. I don't believe this is an obvious matchup. However, I think I did say like 2 weeks ago, it'd feel irresponsible to pick Kansas City to lose because they're so good. But also ask yourself, does it feel responsible to pick Tom Brady to lose? My hands are tied. I'm not picking a winner here, but my prediction is that it's going to be close and fun, and I cannot wait to watch. Hope you enjoy the Super Bowl. I love you so much. I want you guys to have a great time. It's going to be awesome. Enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday.